My recent trip to Zambia left me deeply troubled. The nation, rich in natural resources and potential, is grappling with a pervasive culture of corruption. It was disheartening to witness firsthand how deeply ingrained these practices have become in everyday life. From seemingly simple tasks like obtaining permits to complex processes like securing government contracts, every step is marred by demands for kickbacks. This insidious system thrives on greed and a lack of accountability. What struck me most was the pervasive sense of resignation among the people. This acceptance of corruption as a fact of life is perhaps the most significant roadblock to Zambia's progress. The consequences of this culture of corruption are devastating. It erodes trust in institutions, discourages foreign investment, and perpetuates a cycle of poverty and inequality. The most vulnerable in society, those who can least afford to pay bribes, are disproportionately affected. The demand for kickbacks, often disguised as processing fees or facilitation payments, acts as a significant barrier to development. It creates an environment where short-term gains take precedence over long-term progress. Instead of prioritizing efficiency and effectiveness, decisions are often driven by personal enrichment. Imagine a young entrepreneur, brimming with ideas and eager to contribute to Zambia's growth. They face countless hurdles, navigating a labyrinthine bureaucracy where every signature comes at a price. This discourages innovation and entrepreneurship, stifling economic growth. The culture of kickbacks fosters a vicious cycle. Officials, accustomed to supplementing their incomes through illicit means, become less motivated to perform their duties effectively. This perpetuates inefficiency and incompetence, further hindering progress. Zambia's energy sector offers a stark example of how deeply entrenched corruption hinders progress. The country, despite having abundant natural resources, faces persistent energy deficits. These shortages cripple businesses, disrupt daily life, and stifle economic growth. The root of this crisis lies not in a lack of resources, but in a system riddled with corruption. Contracts for power generation and distribution are often awarded not based on merit or feasibility, but on the size of the kickback offered. This results in poorly conceived projects, inflated costs, and ultimately, a failure to address the energy crisis effectively. The lack of reliable electricity in turn perpetuates poverty, limits educational opportunities, and hinders healthcare services. Section 4. A culture of complacency, normalizing inefficiency. Over time, the acceptance of corruption and inefficiency has become deeply ingrained in Zambian society. This normalization of corrupt practices is perhaps the most significant obstacle to overcome. It is a collective failure, a societal malaise that requires a fundamental shift in attitudes and behavior. The normalization of these practices is evident in everyday conversations. People openly discuss bribes as a necessary evil, a transactional cost of doing business. This acceptance breeds apathy and resignation, making it even more challenging to combat corruption effectively. This culture of complacency allows corrupt officials to act with impunity. The lack of accountability emboldens those in power, perpetuating a system where personal gain trumps the collective good. Section 5. A brighter path towards transparency and accountability. Breaking free from this cycle of corruption and inefficiency requires a multi-pronged approach. Grassroots movements that empower citizens to demand accountability are crucial. Investigative journalism can play a vital role in exposing corruption and holding those in power accountable. Strengthening institutions, promoting transparency in government contracts, and enforcing strict penalties for corrupt practices are essential. This requires political will and a commitment to good governance. Education is also paramount. By instilling ethical values in future generations, we can foster a culture that rejects corruption and embraces integrity. We must empower young Zambians to become agents of change, demanding better from their leaders, and building a brighter future for their nation.